How many of you know about psionics and CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind? Well, before I get into this, I feel I have to preface this with something that isn't really discussed. So, across ancient cultures, there are repeated accounts of humans attempting to initiate contact with non-human entities through intention, ritual, and altered states of consciousness. The Greek magical papyri, right? Those texts describe rituals intended to call down beings from the sky using focused intention. They are instructions on the use of repeated vocalizations of sacred names and visualization of light or visualizing descent. So practitioners were instructed to concentrate deeply while invoking what they believed were powerful names, with the expectation that entities could appear as luminous forms and reveal hidden knowledge. And some parts of the text describe beings descending or becoming visible in the air. Now, in ancient Egypt, in texts such as the pyramid texts, and then in temple practices, priests would enter into altered states and they would use sacred speech and ritual sounds. And all this would create conditions where a deity could become present, sometimes in a statue or just a sacred space. And these entities would communicate with them through visions and appear with light or radiance. Then you have Jewish mystical texts, especially the Hekkalot texts. So instead of calling beings down, the practitioner would ascend through layers of heaven through intense focus, and they would also use divine names, and they would have to mentally prepare for this. And again, this was all about making contact through consciousness, and those encounters would involve angelic or throne-like entities, again with light and sound. So across these systems, the importance of names and sound is the main thing. In Egyptian, Greek, and later mystical practices, knowing and correctly speaking a being's true name was believed to enable access or to summon them. So, the idea is that sound combined with intention creates a bridge for the interaction, you see? Now, even shamans enter trance states through drumming, chanting, repetition, and you have reported encounters with autonomous non-human entities that are described as beings of light or knowledge. So you can see the pattern, right? Altered consciousness, focused intention, symbolic signaling, and then anticipated contact. They expect to see something or for something to happen. So, you probably have noticed or seen on social media that people are still doing this. And many of them are doing it to summon aliens and UFOs. There are official organizations that specialize in this. And so does the government. And once the government gets involved in occult, ritualistic summoning of these things, that's when summoned encounters become nightmares. So, psionics is a concept where the mind is used to influence reality or communicate in ways that go beyond the normal limits of the five senses. That could include telepathy, or communicating without speech or physical signals, remote viewing, psychokinesis. And this is something that sometimes comes up in spiritual teachings and occult practices, where it is linked to expanded states of consciousness. And this would be the foundation of mind-based contact phenomena. And it's the foundation of something known as CE5. Now, CE5, or Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, was of course popularized by Stephen Greer. The idea behind it is that humans may be able to initiate contact with unidentified aerial phenomena through focused intention and meditation rather than going out and waiting for some random encounter. So in practice, people who follow this approach will go and gather in remote outdoor locations and participate in group meditation sessions where the main focus is directed toward the intention of making contact. Some people also use visual signaling methods such as lasers or focused lights directed into the sky, while at the same time maintaining mental concentration on the idea of communication or interaction. After this, they typically wait there and observe the sky while waiting for any kind of response or activity that could indicate interaction. The crazy thing about that is, it usually works, and people describe experiences such as sudden lights appearing in the sky without an obvious source. They kind of fade in, right? And these objects seem to stick around for long periods of time. Now, when it comes to the military or government intelligence and non-physical communication, including experiments that explore perception, consciousness, or abilities such as remote viewing, psionics, the idea is that UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to call them, could be drawn in or influenced through intentional human focus or structured signaling methods. And that, in some cases, individuals may be used as participants who act as signalers or conscious triggers during these attempts. And since we're talking about the military or government in these cases, you can only imagine why they would want to do this. Even though they have been doing this since the 1940s with their nuclear testing, but that's a conversation for another time. I have a short clip that I want to play for you guys. Take a look at this.
So then we sit at this conference room table and, he's explaining to me what it was. He explained the containers, he explained the program, P3, which is, P3 is not the real program designation, it's just what they call it.
Okay.
Which was psionic potential predisposition.
Okay. And so,
it sounds very far out there.
Yeah.
But being in these shoes for the last almost 2 years and understanding that consciousness is really the key to this whole thing. If you want to understand how these UFOs operate, you need to understand consciousness better.
And so what was in these containers? Because you thought initially it might have been drugs.
I thought it was drugs, and he has said I was completely wrong about that.
And what is he telling you?
He's saying it is basically these people who are psionic assets who have been screened from third world countries, that they use them. Because there's different groups that are recruited out of the United States to participate in different parts of the world.
And explain what a psionic asset is.
These are people that they have a psychic ability to an extent, to my understanding. And they use these people to basically hook up to this advanced technology, whether it's NHI technology, ET craft, if you will, and basically either summon them or call them in, invite them in. And then the dark part about this whole thing, because everybody started getting wrapped up in the human trafficking, that got slapped onto it. Now, understanding how the dynamic is now, where these people volunteer for this kind of work, because one, if you had if I know if you guys had the opportunity to participate in something that was mind blowing with this technology, would you guys accept it?
I'd want to know more.
You would.
I'd be cautious. What about
But
you?
if you-
What was it?
You'd be cautious, but if it was in a sense where you're participating, because everybody's like, oh, well, these people are dying and all that. Well, why aren't you complaining about people going to the military? Because you're taking risk going in the military too, where you could die. Or you want to drive a race car for a living, you happen to crash, well, that kills you. Or you play professional sports, you could always get screwed up. When I did competitive bodybuilding, people talk about the risk of being on performance-enhancing drugs.
Well, let's even just super basically for the audience. So these psionic assets what are they doing vis-a-vis UFOs?
They are basically getting into a cognitive or a state of consciousness to attract these craft to appear at these certain ranges. In this organization, not Jake's team, so everybody needs to understand that Jake's team is completely different from what this organization does. And this organization will then sometimes target them with these EMP weapon systems, they're scalar, and they knock them out of the sky.
So you're sort of baiting the UFOs to come
Correct.
in, and then you're knocking them out of
That's where Jake's team would come into need, is because his team would get contracted to go pick up these vehicles and then transfer them to a facility.
If you were baiting a thing that seems like it's coming from another world or planet or interdimensionally or whatever this is, and then zapping it out of the sky, if you know it's bad, that's fine. If you don't, shouldn't we have some caution around doing that?
There should be some sort of system, diplomatic or whatever you would say. But this is the thing is, if you're in the military or you're in some sort of capacity where you're taking orders, you're not really in a position to think necessarily. You're just going to do what's instructed for you to do. And I feel the same way is probably perpetrated in people in these programs to an extent, to think the same way. This is a reason why they cross-deck into these agencies, because they still have the same structure. They still have the same type of orders that are given or things like that. Yes, you're more free thinking, but at the same time, you're also doing sort of the same work, but just in a different capacity. So if you're taking orders to say, hey, this, if whatever comes into range, take them out, I don't think anybody's going to argue with that, because the amount of pay that comes with this, and it says your only opportunity. And these guys get paid pretty good.
Yeah, well, this isn't necessarily blaming the operators who are involved.
No, and that's the thing, is that they're told one thing,
Sure.
because the management level of these know what's going on to an extent. And this is where it comes into either they're doing this for their own personal benefit or their gain for the whatever group they control, i.e. through money, coercion of certain things. But again, this is speculation, but at the same time, the facts is that we are shooting them down. Yes, they are facts, and regardless if everybody out there says, I've never seen this happen, well, yeah, you're not going to. You're not a part of these programs. You're not a part of anything that's going to get you into this, because the people that are involved with this, they don't like to talk about it.
That was a clip from Jesse Mickles' channel. I'll leave the link to the main channel and that particular video in the description box below, so you can go and check that out. Now, sometimes in these cases, these objects will disappear suddenly, change direction in ways that defy conventional flight behavior, or evade pursuit entirely. I mean, they've come out with footage of them attempting to shoot these things down, right? So we can infer that they've been doing this. And the people they use to summon these craft still don't know what these things really are. I mean, we have a pretty good idea of what demons are, but their daddies, the fallen angels, outside of being God's creations, we have limited information, and we still don't really know what they are. And there are many different types, by the way. But let's be honest, we don't have a full understanding of angels. But the important thing here is the risk associated with attempting to initiate or summon contact. Back in 1224, Saint Francis of Assisi was reported to have a vision of a seraph while praying on Mount Laverna. After this experience, he developed what they would call back then stigmata, wounds on his hands, feet, and side corresponding to the crucifixion of Christ, right? But this was believed to actually be the result of radiation exposure. Because after that encounter, the stigmata became a permanent part of his body. Wounds appeared on his hands, feet, and side. They reportedly bled at times and caused ongoing pain. He became increasingly weak and physically fragile. On top of that, Francis was already in poor health. He likely suffered from eye disease, which made him nearly blind. Chronic illness and exhaustion worsened in his final years, and just 2 years after that encounter, he was dead. Anyway, that's extreme. Typically, the concern is similar to what would happen when someone attempts to contact spirits, mostly infestation or harassment, psychological and experiential effects rather than physical danger, although it can get dangerous, right? That desire that people have to see these things, that's not a good desire to have. And once they know you have that desire, they see that as an invitation, and they know where their next home is going to be. The key grounding point in many of these discussions is that, regardless of the cause or interpretation, the act of trying to initiate contact can have a noticeable effect on how individuals perceive and process reality afterward. Some people, after they have an encounter, they leave it alone right after that. They don't want anything to do with it. And then there are others who just can't get enough. And then they start teaching others how to do it, not knowing what they are getting other people into. You see, the question is not whether contact is possible, but what changes in the person who begins looking for it. Anyway, that's going to be all for now, and there is more to come. Be sure to click the thumbs up button and like this video. Share this video. And also let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Everyone have a great day or evening. And until next time, stay awake, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon. Since the dawn of time, shadows have followed us. Questions without answers. Legends without end. Whispers speak of worlds hidden from sight. Truths buried in myth, carved in stone, and locked away in secret text and hidden vaults. Across every culture, every age, fragments remain. Clues to something vast, something forbidden, something waiting. This is Legends Mystery Masterclass. Here, we walk beyond the veil of ordinary understanding into ancient enigmas, forgotten corridors, and the secrets humanity was never meant to uncover. Prepare yourself. The mystery begins now.